Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Dead Space 3. Let's continue. Which way are we going? Yeah, we're about to go into the big monster, I assume. But first we'll just take on some of these guys that were still around. I think there might be another one over here. Can I shoot it through the fence? Not really. Can't move that. Interesting that that door can stasis, but it can't. Well, anyways. I watched a review of Dead Space 1, and there was one thing that kind of is shocking there, is that there is a map system in the first game, so they effectively created a worse experience in Dead Space 3. Than what they had in the first game. Like, there was straight up just a map on this same menu, and it's just totally missing now. And at a certain level it kind of makes sense, because you can't have a live service game, which this does not work anywhere close to what something like Destiny or a modern live service game would, how that would work, and the polish from those types of games. But in a live service game, you really can't have level design that is anything but linear. And yeah, there's entire 3D models that are missing from the first game that could have been brought back. It kind of doesn't matter if they aren't brought back. Is that a zombie Necromorph? I think that is. It's like you can't even stop these guys. Like, even if you want to, that they're not programmed really to be taken out before the game is ready for you to take them out. Okay. And this scavenger bot's supposed to be going somewhere else. I don't even know where. Yeah. You also run into this problem with the inventory, that all the resources on the right would have been bullets for specific guns, which that system in Dead Space 1 would have forced you to try the different guns more. Here we have no motivation to do that. We can't even hold more than 2 guns, and one of them in this chapter is being used specifically to hold a key item. Yeah. And I'd pretty much forgotten the story of the first game, but it definitely is different. It's way more interesting in retrospect than what we've had here. And yeah, this game is just going to fail on every comparison to the first game, I know, but... And the thing that I think I found most surprising was that seemingly the only bosses you really fought in the first game are the same monster over and over again. I don't know if that's really true. We have nothing to equip or change. I am kind of running short on bullets. That'd be about my only real concern. We're gonna end up jumping inside this giant creature, and then I think it's gonna fly around.
Don't worry about it.
Dick.
He might be a... This I don't think was there before. He might be working for like the secret government or the unitologists. I wouldn't be surprised either way. Seems like we can just activate these right now if we wanted to. You have to expect this guy to die, but if he doesn't, that's not super surprising either. You have to expect this girl to die. She's gonna have fulfilled her purpose at this point. If they are trying to establish that he's the new bad guy, I don't know how far you really go with that though, because it's not like they made any more game. Okay. Do we could try to start a fight. Well, it seems to me like the game is just doing a bad job of directing you. In all fairness, this system does just kind of point you in weird directions when it probably shouldn't. Okay. So we used the spear gun to pull him open. Why wasn't it open to start with? And it seems like we're just never going to get into that room. It would be kind of shocking if we were in this whole area and they managed to really not do anything, and it's just two
Isaac,
people.
You'll need to ride the cage out to the opening. Norton, can you help us?
Wow, gotta be kidding me.
I'll save it. I'll go inside. I just need you to lower me down.
Yeah, whatever. Get in the cage.
So he's just turning this thing. So, yeah, he's just manually turning this blue controller. Or he's not even really doing that. He's just hovering his hands over it. And so down I go.
So Santos, how will this work exactly?
Use the gun sensor attachment to locate a nerve cluster. It should ping when you're close.
And then what?
Shoot a probe into it, I suppose. My telemetry should light up and we'll have the location of
All
the
right.
machine.
I guess I just aim the
Finally,
probe
something
and follow the
simple,
ping.
right?
Right. Doesn't sound too hard.
So we're trying to find some synapses. Do I have the right gun? Heavy standard probe gun. This is the gun I was supposed to be using. Not this one. So yeah, this definitely feels like it's most alive. That was another thing about the first game, is that the Ishimura's ship was being terraformed and turned into a more hospitable land for the Necromorphs, or at least that was what it seemed like the Necromorphs were doing. Here, this snow planet doesn't really come off as a land that has any kind of hospitability to Necromorphs. Also, the Regenerators were half human, half Necromorph. I guess we're doing that.
Nothing. Need to find a stronger signal ping.
This thing shoots a lot of probes.
Still nothing. There's gotta be an active node somewhere. Wrong node. There must be a stronger ping around here somewhere.
Okay. So this really feels like this is a section that they are just setting up for a bunch of Necromorphs to attack you. I don't understand this gun. Like, if I had this gun and I was to hit this and this, that would be the alternate attack. Here, there is no alternate ability. So, I don't know if I'm just supposed to be wasting bullets shooting these.
Nothing. Need to find a stronger signal ping.
It feels like I'm just wasting bullets and the game is not really telling me.
Still nothing. There's gotta be an active node somewhere.
It feels like I shouldn't be getting just these prompts this often. Finally.
God, Santos, it's moving!
Don't worry, it's quite dead.
You sure about that?
So we've got some black-eyed. I don't know what this is supposed to be, though. Like, are these supposed to be an alien species, or are these supposed to be humans that starve to death? How, if they did starve to death, how did they get inside the body of the machine?
Isaac, are you all right?
This thing's got one hell of a defense mechanism. Well, did it work?
No. The signal is just a trickle. I can't get a fix on any specific location.
All right. I'm gonna find another nerve cluster.
Yes, good idea. That should boost the signal.
Well, we know what to do now. And I guess it will just come down to a question of which one.
Again. All right. Come on. Come and get me.
Is everything okay?
Yeah. Look, I want to get out of here. How's the signal?
Definitely stronger, but
One more?
one more.
And oddly so safe here that you could just well, that is very late into the game.
Isaac,
Certainly.
it worked! It worked!
Extremely late in the game to start seeing hallucination. So, like, very quickly you get grabbed, and that becomes a problem. And the other characters really can't grab you during that whole process. So it's not really as big of a problem as it would be. And I suppose if I didn't have the damage turned up really high, this would be a problem.
Please tell me you got what you needed.
Yes, thank you. It will take me a moment to sift through the data.
Fine. I'm gonna head back to the cage.
This is just an incredibly tiny area.
Ready when you are.
If there was any collectibles or anything.
Santos, we have a fix on the machine?
Yes. There are thousands of signals, all concentrated far below the planet's surface. That has to be it. There's an entrance further up the mountain beneath a second dig site.
Further up the mountains, they're sheer cliffs.
Well, I saw some climbing gear stored below. Santos and I will start setting up at the base of the cliff. Norton, can you make sure Isaac gets out safely?
Sure, I'll take care of it. And Ellie,
Yeah?
I love you. You know that, right?
What? Yeah, of course. Isaac.
See,
music
we
clip.
really need subtitles that tell us who's talking, because I thought it was this girl that was talking, not... I thought it was Santos talking, not Ellie. Yeah, we should have been getting signals, signals before this point.
Norton, open the cage.
No.
What?
If you want to die here, now's your chance. I'm taking control of this mission again.
Hey, where you going?
Saving Ellie. North!
That's a jerk response, but it's not a super crazy response.
Ellie, can you hear me? Damn it, you jammed my signal.
Third time's the charm on that. So Santos is gone. We need to replace our weapon with something better than the probe gun. And yeah, that doesn't really come off as he's crazy and gonna get everybody killed, as much as he's got a very legitimate argument that this whole mission is crazy. And if it weren't for the fact that we know it's a video game and that it actually would save the world, just trying to save your girlfriend's not the worst thought in the world. Whereas I think Ellie is kind of crazy. We just have massive amounts of tungsten at this point, so we are good. Which means go ahead and equip that and do that. We'll go ahead and store this. I'm gonna go take back some bullets. We're getting a little low on the bullet collection, and I think we can possibly not carry that much health kits. We don't need a tungsten bar. We didn't really pick up anything. So unless we were going to try and upgrade this gun some more, which I don't see a real reason to. Like, we're still at a position where I just don't think there is a I don't feel like there really is a gun that works well. On top of the guns we've already been fighting, the main gun. All the bodies are gone. This is the third time we've walked through this area. Are we going the right direction? No. We're going this direction this time. Which, yeah, alright, we'll just run here. Unless the Necromorph is going to start attacking us. It would be funny if Necromorphs only attacked Isaac when he was alone, and this was the final reveal that Necromorphs never really existed. They have always been in the head of
Personal log, Dr. Earl Serrano. The Nexus experiment is, well, it's incredible. We have discovered two near.
I think we've already listened to this.
Crews are working around the clock to uncover them. We're learning so much about how these Necromorphs communicate. The whole species seems to have been connected by some telepathic signal from the lowliest foot soldier to the mightiest specimen.
Yeah, we had already heard that.
Where is the signal coming from? That is what I intend to find out.
So last time we took that direction, and now we can, that door's open. Can we change suits? No, we still only have 3 suits, and there's still really not any reason to upgrade suits. We'll upgrade our duration. We need transducers, and we don't have that. So it seems like the remaining bits of our upgrades for a suit would be, we have enough to get 2 energy here, but then not another recharge. But we are very close to having everything we could ever want as far as suit upgrades. But I don't think that puts us in the greatest position to start building weapons just for the fun of it. We might try something like that just to experience the game, but we're oddly going between situations where we have too much inventory because our inventory is limited in the suit, and situations where we are kind of low on bullets. Assuming the Necromorphs are real, though, you do run into a situation, you have to admit that the boyfriend did just leave you for dead there. Like, if he... Yeah, there's not really any other way to look at that. Sell that. I bet we cannot sell, but we can dismantle that weapon. I think I may have missed a point where I could have put the scavenger bot down. Really only seem to have a couple opportunities. No, here we're back to a co-op
You wouldn't
cutscene.
believe the trouble you've saved me.
Which our co-op guy would have just been with us this whole time.
What? Well, here he is. The marker killer, Isaac Clarke. And here we are. The marker homeworld. You know, I must admit, I almost didn't believe such a place existed. But thanks to your friend, Norton, I finally found it.
That's how they followed us through shock space.
Well, he is a bright one.
All he wants is Isaac. Carver, the rest of us can go home. Deluded son of a...
Hey, you've got me. Let the others go.
It's a very difficult thing, you know, undoing.
If he
damage
kept
man has done.
Isaac
Everything we touch, we
in the
contaminate,
cage,
corrupt. The markers had a plan for us, but we took what should have been a magnificent gift.
why didn't you just shoot
Jesus,
Isaac at
where's
that
the
point?
bullshit? I've spent an entire lifetime trying to undo the damage man has done.
I guess Christianity did exist in this timeline at some point.
Liberating the markers from those profane testing facilities. And now, I just have one problem left to purge.
His fingers look horribly
All of
animated.
No, you promised me a ship, Danik. We had a deal.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. I can't afford to
This
leave
is an
even one of you left
in-game
alive.
engine cutscene when this should have been a pre-rendered cutscene. I assume that this is an indication of a new unitologist class. Look at the guns as they're glitching on the ground. Let's see. Am I supposed to be shooting something or am I just waiting?
Come on! You're fucking kidding me?
So we brought back the monster. We see glowing orange things to shoot. See, you're in this weird position where you can't really. I think I'm probably supposed to be rolling here. So it's spitting out some kind of pustules. And the pustules make the humanoid creatures. This is where damage is not going to be enough. I tried to dodge there and it didn't really work. Interesting that we even have that conversation. We haven't had any conversation in any of the fights before this. There was a dodge that actually worked. That wasn't a dodge that really worked. You have to kind of delay it more. I need to heal twice. In a funny way, you're better off keeping these guys alive. Because they don't really drop resources if you don't let them be. Let's go ahead and heal. This is definitely a fight that I don't think is anywhere as balanced as it could be, so I imagine there is situations where you would potentially run out of bullets and not be able to go through all these phases. This is not a terrible boss fight though. We've seen wars with the smaller creature. I think the smaller boss was a little bit too much in the middle, and big giant fights like this probably are better. Is that game over, or was that supposed to happen? Because I saw something, but I had a real hard time shooting it. Like, this is quite the cutscene. The Dead Space universe was kind of established as being very gory with the way you die. But this is quite the cutscene. And it does, once again, just like establish, is there some kind of weird weird digestive pattern? Let's... This might very well be a place to... So, this is very much like the creature we fought in the first game. So much so that it makes me suspect this is the exact style of creature in the first game. In the first game, you also had these cryogenically enhanced necromorphs that would make them run faster, because it was humans that had the cryogenesis ability, which doesn't really make the most amount of sense. We have plenty of oxygen, but I guess the game would make us run out of oxygen if we hadn't ever upgraded it, which in all fairness, I can totally see a reason why a lot of players would never have bothered to upgrade their oxygen. There's double achievements again. It's been an incredibly long time since we've gotten an achievement in this game. 3 or 4 hours. I have no idea how that would work in co-op, though, if that's a case where both players would have gotten eaten at the same time, probably. Otherwise, one player is shooting the creature from the inside and the other player is shooting the character from the outside.
You made us come down here. You encouraged her. Now look where we are. Between Danik shooting at us and whatever the fuck that was, what chance have we got? You betrayed us! I tried to save us. You are the real problem here, Clark. But not anymore. Captain! Stand down, Sergeant. This is all your fucking fault. She doesn't love you.
So, I'm tapping the A button, QuickTime event, to shoot him. Which I assume
Come on.
that's what you're supposed
You
to.
won't stay dead forever, not around here.
See,
Tell Ellie.
Hey. You tell her the truth. Now let's go.
that's funny. I thought that your co-op partner was the guy who was dating Ellie. This is so macho. I think his body just glitched. Yeah, his body just glitched in the air. It's such just like a testosterone drowning in testosterone storyline. it's hard to relate to 7 years later. It'd be kind of hard to relate to even now. Well, finally we're at chapter 13, which means we did just jump through chapter 12. And that certainly explains why there's nothing in chapter 12, is because it is just that boss fight. Progress wise, yeah, it was just that boss fight. We still missed 30% of chapter 11 though, because of the co-op mission. Now we're going to another place. So we've got a bit of a base camp here. We should check that first. We now have honey badger. Let's see what's in here. Just a bench. +2 damage, +1 reload. Ooh. If anything, damage is not the problem, though. The bigger problem is we need something that fires wider. I'm just not as good of a shot as I'd like to be. So here's Honey Badger, Rivet Shotgun, and Hydraulic Eviscerator. Right, so +2 damage, minus rate of fire. Obviously that's the one to replace. We still have a couple of suit things we'd like to upgrade before we start wasting things completely on other elements. Meanwhile, let's see. I think we could sell this and this. I guess the real question though is, could we do +2 damage and reload and have that work? Because this is better than +2 damage, and yet this is gold. So could we craft a new circuit? Yeah. +2 damage reload would cost 20 tungsten and plenty of semiconductors and plenty of scrap metal. So we could just really increase this a lot. Increase the amount of damage. I'm waiting to see, I suppose, if there is something else that would... Plasma cutter beam. Range is mid, accuracy is medium. The default tip has high accuracy. Yeah. There's just nothing here that's worth really buying. I don't think there's any new attachments that can be crafted. I don't think there's any new... Yeah, I think we've probably gotten everything there is to get. Yeah, I suppose what we're waiting for is to see if we can find something that is like +2 on all 4 stats. But even if we could craft things like that that did +2 on all 4 stats, they're kind of pointless numbers, because the numbers will just go up and then they will balance and scale the characters, the Necromorphs, to have more health.
Isaac. Where's Robert? Is he...
I shot him, Ellie.
What?
I'm sorry. I had no choice.
Norton betrayed us, Ellie. He
Yeah, I was
ready to
wondering if he
kill
was
us.
gonna step in and
Isaac
say
did
something.
what he had to do to save the mission. Come on, we gotta keep moving.
Now there are only 4 of us left. I can't do this.
Then we leave you behind. If you can't keep your head,
His
you're a
voice
danger to
acting is
everybody.
terrible.
Horrible.
Nobody's leaving anybody. Now come on. Let's get to the top of this mountain. Together. Together.
It would be funny if it took 5 people to like turn off the marker or activate the marker, and there was some secret to that. To as far as turning it off. And now we're short on some character. So, are we activating some kind of thing? What does this do? Left stick to repel, left bump to jump.
We all try to climb this.
What do we do?
I'll climb up first and have a look around. Maybe there's a safer route.
This whole thing is just glitched visually. This is totally messed up. None of the images are loaded. Well, I think I'm on top of the level. So I'm probably supposed to be down there. Yeah, we're just instituting speedrunning tech, I suppose, at this point. That frame rate just flung us. Let's see if we can find a way to die. Otherwise, we're gonna have to restart a checkpoint. We may have to turn on vertical sync. We'll try that again. But yeah, we can see there's... This is supposed to have been a big rappel section. Very little conversation happened as far as killing her boyfriend and the guy in charge. Let's try this again. If this works this time, then we'll chalk that up to just a high frame rate glitch. If it doesn't, then we're gonna have to left stick, use left stick to repel, right left bump to jump.
What do we do?
I'll climb up first and have a look around. Maybe there's a safer route.
Alright. Checkpoint restart. That puts us there. Settings, visuals, VSync, visuals, VSync on, accept. Yes. Try this again. Yes. So a very different experience there.
We're gonna start an avalanche if we all try to climb this.
What do we do?
I'll climb up first and have a look around. Maybe there's a safer route.
It says left bump to jump, but left bump not really working. I don't know if I'm supposed to be struggling this much or what. See, because there's this section in the middle there that you lose your footing on. Okay. That did a lot of health damage to me. And we can see using 1/2 health is only getting us about 1/3 of the way there. We won't go the full route. And we can see with the VSync on, the frame rate does feel very stuttery. Like the Isaac just doesn't move as smooth as he was before. Remember, we had a sequence where we were rappelling downward at the very beginning in the prologue. Now we're working our way upward. Although it doesn't visually look like we're working our way upward. It looks like we were working our way more downward. Apparently he just wants us to go a little bit further.
Ellie, come on. Norton was pointing a gun at my face. I'm sorry.
Is that supposed to make it okay? You never believed in me, or this mission, or us. I had to go find someone else to help me, and now he's dead. You sabotaged it, just like everything else.
What's that supposed to mean? Is that what you really think?
Yes, they brought you here at gunpoint. I guess that's what it took.
I'm not here because someone put a gun to my head.
Yeah, well, Norton's dead because someone put one to his.
So yeah, she's understandably upset. But yeah, Isaac is also wasn't really believing in the mission. He's there to save Ellie. That's fairly obvious. I want to take one encounter with Necromorphs and then turn VSync back on. I doubt we'll do any more rappelling, because they've already done as much as I think you can do with that. And sure, if this game was Skyrim, climbing to the top of the tallest mountain might be interesting. Or if this game series was an action series to begin with, you might be able to make that argument that this is exciting, but not really. Not for Dead Space. That's not what this whole game has been about. Interesting ladder system. What would be the point of having a retractable ladder like that? Maybe because they wanted to have both players wait and meet up. So I think there's a Necromorph back there beating on the snow. And we have just ice pick people. They're not going to really pose a threat. This is kind of content that could have happened earlier. So yeah, I am not firing as fast, and I am not moving as fast as I would like to be. And these guys are moving faster. And I don't know if that's because now the signal is stronger or what. So let's go back to the visual settings. Visuals, VSync off. And immediately the game feels much smoother. I am short on bullets and I am short on health. So I definitely need to make an effort to build up that inventory some more. It may very well be that I'm kind of cheating the game somewhat here by having VSync off at this high frame rate. That might be doing more damage to the Necromorphs than what they expected, so the whole balance could very well be broken. That being said, there's an argument to be made that as technology improves and players get faster and better at games, there is also a slight benefit in being able to potentially have a game run faster. Like, a lot of old games ran incredibly slow, unacceptably slow even when they were first released, and now I would say a lot of game players are fairly much faster. They've kind of become more hyper, for lack of a better term, in their movements and their thinking, perhaps less focused, and arguably you just call it more ADHD.
Guys, I found a cargo cage, but it's wedged into the cliff. I'll try to free it and send it down. Ellie,
Yep.
You hear me?
We see it. Come on, Ellie.
It's funny that they're telling her to cheer up, and I'm like, yeah, seriously, you would have had to have accidentally killed him at the beginning of the game to even begin to think she's gonna have
On its way now.
any
Ellie, can you see it?
feelings.
Ellie.
Oh God! Look out! That's us! Get behind me!
Ah, shit! Try to drive it away!
Ellie! Ellie! Ellie!
Let's see. Locate the lift controls. That kind of makes it seem like Isaac is alone in this sequence. So I wonder if there are some sequences where it's kind of sucky and you play as the other guy and you're having completely different encounters. Certainly would explain why there's kind of a lack of polish. Alright, I see, guys. Yeah, it certainly would explain a lot. If there were entire encounters they made for the other player and you just don't see them in single player ever, and a bunch of work went towards the design of that. I'm having a hard time not wasting bullets at this rate. And we still aren't in a place where we're supposed to place the scavenger bot, which I imagine if you are taking on conflict, you probably aren't going to place a scavenger bot. For a 7-year-old game, the skybox is awful. Definitely feels unpolished. Definitely feels like this whole planet could have at one point not been covered in snow, but you would have been able to look out there and seen horrific. I would assume it would have been like lava, a hellscape type landscape of just sharp mountains and lava and smog, smoke from fires. Like all of that would make a lot of sense. Ammo support. I guess we are going up some more. So we will swap, not the resolution, the V-Sync back. And do this again. The only difference now is it does sound like we are potentially shooting Necromorphs at this point. Okay. We are supposed to be going back and forth between these guys. And it likes to put this weird angle on things. I don't think the rocks actually would hit me.
Isaac, we're okay. We drove it off.
Oh, thank God.
Look, about Robert. I just don't understand why he would try to kill you.
He blamed me for all the trouble we're in. He kept pushing to go home. I kept pushing to stay.
But the mission is all that matters. I thought Robert understood that.
I'm here for you. I mean that.
Alright, well, let's once again turn off the V-Sync. Ellie is coming off as kind of naive and stupid, which is not the character that you were left with in the second game when she was introduced. So that feels weird. Yeah, and pretty much anytime we hear that whopping sound, that is an indication that there was something to collect. I think we finally figured out that. It's very weird that there'd just be these sleds. Remember that the Ishimura in the first game literally was a planet cracker ship. They were lifting large chunks of a planet up, and they brought the marker up using that planet cracker item. And while this encampment and all of this military scarf stuff happened a couple hundred years earlier, it is still very strange to see people just using like normal sleds and very little technology, pickaxes, to you would expect with their benches and their ability to use the benches to craft something, they would at the very least have plasma style weapons and plasma style equipment. I'm just gonna run around here and just make sure I get everything. I'll just step on everything. Because the limbs break off, I think if you step on any limb, you see that counts as stomping on the torso or the main part of the body. Seems like very often you get in this situation where I accidentally twist and rotate my gun, which probably isn't very useful. Like you barely ever use it in this game. Pause now if you want to read that. Pause now if you want to read the rest of it. We now have a third scavenger bot, which honestly it's just too little too late. I'm gonna go ahead and use a health kit because we're highly unlikely, now that we've figured out how the scavenger bot system works, we're highly unlikely to ever actually use it to its fullest.
Okay, I found another lift point. Still no winch. You guys all right?
So far, we're just at the cage.
It's infested pretty bad up here. I hope I find a winch soon.
Isaac, just be careful. I don't need to lose both you and Robert in the same day.
Thanks, Ellie.
I thought he said witch, but he said winch. Meanwhile, we can come over here and pick up some more items. Suppose maybe if you are supposed to be struggling on normal by having a on that VSync, the way you move so sluggishly with VSync on, at that point you probably would need to try something different. As far as, let's see, what do I have equipped? Rate of fire plus 1 damage. Let's see, 2 damage plus 1 reload, 1 damage plus 1 clip. Can I just make 2 damage plus 1 reload? Do I have enough tungsten for that? Plus 2 clips now. 2 damage plus 1 reload. Really wouldn't cost a lot of resources. Got plenty of them. Okay. Reload. Reload plus 1 damage. What I want to craft plus 2 clips. That's probably fine. Like, honestly, I would suspect my damage is already at the maximum And my reload may actually be at the maximum. Let's see. Yeah, my reload's already at the maximum, so... Let's do damage plus 1 clip. Actually... Yeah. Why not do that? So that's like 3 reloads, putting my reload probably at the highest possible. And if at some point we get plus 2 damage plus 1 clip, we should replace some of those. Also probably wouldn't hurt to just get the achievement and put some items here. Yep. That just got us a achievement. Let's look at our inventory. I think we are a little short on ammo. So I'm just gonna make 4 ammo clips, which should fill up a slot. I think we can also probably use a couple health kits. We have a frame. Let's see, to sell one of these frames. We can now craft pneumatic torch and a ripcord. Can't craft anything new there. 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 Yeah, I feel like we didn't really accomplish too much. See, and that just got me up to 13 shots. So I don't know if 1 clip really is worth it versus just faster reloads in general. I would almost want a plus 10 clip to double my my clip before it starts to make sense. Yeah, I can't help but feel like we didn't really accomplish much in this episode, but it has been an hour, so as always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.